Have you ever noticed how people who are already wealthy always say the same thing? They'll tell you the first $100,000 is the hardest money you'll ever make. Charlie Munger talked about this all the time, and he wasn't alone. A lot of people who've built real wealth say once you hit that first 100,000, the next 100 comes faster, then the next, and eventually the first million doesn't feel impossible anymore. If you're sitting there right now feeling like your net worth is barely moving, this should actually be reassuring, because it's not just you. It's supposed to feel slow at the start. But the real question is why? Why does it take so long to get to that first milestone? And why does everything seem to speed up after? Let's break it down. One of the biggest reasons the first 100,000 feels so hard is simply getting started. Investing sounds simple, but for most people it keeps getting pushed back. There's always a reason. Not enough money yet. Not the right time. I'll do it when I earn more. Saying you'll invest once you have more money is kind of like saying you'll start a fire once it gets warm. It doesn't work like that. You don't invest because you're rich. You invest because you want to be. Risk is another big excuse. Almost everyone knows someone who says investing is dangerous, so they just avoid it completely. And honestly, when the finish line feels so far away, it's easy to keep telling yourself you'll deal with it later. But here's the reality. When you're working toward that first $100,000, most of the money has to come directly from you, your savings, your effort, your discipline. There's no magic yet. At the start, compound growth barely feels real. If you invest $5,000 and it grows by 10% in a year, that's $500. You could earn that with a few extra shifts. It doesn't feel life-changing, but once you hit $100,000, that same 10% is $10,000. That's when things start to feel different. Now, your money is actually doing something noticeable, and when your portfolio reaches $1 million, 10% is $100,000 a year. That's more than many people earn working full-time. At that point, your investments are doing more work than you are. The percentage return never changed. What changed was the base it was working on. This is why people say the snowball effect is real. At first, you're pushing hard just to get it moving. Once it starts rolling, it picks up speed on its own. Something else interesting happens around that $100,000 mark. You start to feel motivated in a different way. You can actually see progress. And when progress is visible, you want to protect it. You start thinking twice about spending money without realizing it. That $100 dinner feels different when you understand what that money could turn into over time. If you spend it, it's gone. If you invest it, it keeps rewarding you year after year. It's not about never enjoying life. It's about building habits. Saving $100 here and there doesn't sound impressive, but repeating that habit consistently is what gets you out of survival mode. Another huge shift is opportunity. When you have savings, you have options. Someone living paycheck to paycheck doesn't get many choices. If a better job comes along but the income isn't guaranteed right away, it's too risky. If a business opportunity shows up, they can't take it. If a property deal comes up below market value, they can't move fast enough. But when you've built some financial buffer, risk changes. You can afford to take chances that could seriously improve your life. Even if something doesn't work out, it doesn't wipe you out. The same goes for investing. With more money saved, you can afford to be a bit more aggressive when the opportunity makes sense. You're not all in on one idea. You're diversified. You can learn without destroying yourself financially. So if you're still working toward that first 100,000, what can you actually do to speed it up? The honest answer is simple, but not easy. You need to save more. And to save more, you usually need to earn more. That might mean a second job for a period of time, a few nights a week, a weekend shift, a side hustle that sends every dollar straight into savings. This phase is temporary, but it makes a massive difference. It also means being more intentional with spending. Not forever, just until you hit your goal. Do you really need a big car payment? Or is that one expense quietly stopping you from ever reaching $100,000, let alone $1 million? Once you build the habit of saving and investing, it gets easier to keep going. You get better at earning extra income. You get more comfortable with market ups and downs. You stop panicking every time things pull back. And eventually, compound growth starts doing most of the work for you. Charlie Munger used to say the first million is the next milestone, but it's easier because by then your money is earning more money than you are. You're no longer starting from zero. So if growing your net worth feels frustrating right now, understand this. It's hard at the beginning for everyone, but it does get easier. It gets faster, and it gets more rewarding once momentum kicks in. The hardest part is staying consistent long enough to let it happen.